Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Fitri, and I will be your moderator for today. Today, we will start our webinar with an introduction from disruptive group publisher Andrew Martin, who will also explaining more on the competition rules and aims. After that, we will have Associate Professor Dr. Angela, Information Systems, Business Analytics, and Data Analytics Program Leader for Sunway University, who will be explaining on reasons for encouraging this Low Code-A-Thon competition. Later we will also have Jin Chong, Manager Director and Founder of Jet Workflow, to explain to us what is low code and why you need to know about it. Finally, we will have a Q&A session which will be moderated by Andrew Martin. With that being said, I will now pass over to Andrew to start with today's presentation. Over to you, Andrew.
Okay, thank you very much, Fitri. Let's go for the next technical hurdle, which is, can I display my screen? So let's give this a go. Do we have success? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
And you do,
yes,
you can. Okay, great. So thank you everyone for joining. Again, let's apologize for the technical glitch. We honestly don't know what happened. It was something very strange with GoToWebinar, but thank you for sticking with us. And we'll now get into this. So my name is Andrew Martin. I'm the co-founder and group publisher at Asia Online Publishing Group. So we are the co-organizers and I guess originators of this event. I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm doing this presentation from home this morning, so if you hear kind of home background noises, they're kind of beyond my control, but hopefully we'll keep it as quiet in the background as we possibly can. And I'm just going to give you a little introduction into how and why we put this Low Code-A-Thon together. So I think the most important things are that we at Asia Online Publishing Group, where we publish several IT news portals which are directed to professionals, IT and data analytics professionals. We came up with this idea of doing what we thought was something unique, the Low Code-A-Thon. But we could never do it in isolation. We needed partners to do it with. So I'm really thankful to both Jin and Dr. Angela, Jim from Jet Workflow, and obviously everyone on here knows who Dr. Angela is, for listening to the idea and deciding to collaborate with us and support it and turn it from an idea into a reality. So just my personal thanks to them for making that happen. So question is though, why? Why did we want to do this Low Code-A-Thon? And I think if you're a student that's doing anything in the analytics, data, digital or coding space, then you're probably aware of the term digital transformation, digital economy, these kind of things. And these are real things that are happening now. There's lots of debate in the news as to where Malaysia is and how far advanced it is in its digital transformation. But really what this means is it's taking traditional ways of doing business, traditional ways of communicating, traditional ways of selling, and making them modern. Using the technologies and the way that people communicate with each other today, which is obviously based on devices, applications, mobile, the ability to be mobile, and readapting business models and readapting whole businesses to exactly do that, to transform. And applications are at the heart of that. So what we thought we would do is take a technology which is democratizing the ability to create your own applications, and that's low code and no code, and give some students a chance to experience that for themselves and understand the power that will put in their hands when they reach the workplace, and of course before. But there are a couple of other reasons why I feel that this whole concept of the Low Code-A-Thon is really, really important. And one of those is about creativity. And what do I mean by that? It's to do with something. I'm going to refer back to a really inspirational talk that I attended from the chief data officer at Maybank, a lady called Cam Lin, who was doing a presentation to students, and she said to them that the single most important thing that she looks for when she's hiring an analyst or a coder is not your coding ability, it's not your analytics ability, it's your creativity. And she gave a story about one of her first jobs where she was working in the Malaysia, the launch of the first ever Malaysian satellite, and she was responsible for keeping an eye on that satellite and managing it. And she was explaining that she had to monitor the temperature of the satellite, and dependent on that temperature, she would have to issue commands to it to revolve it so that it was facing the sun, so that it could get the temperature up, so that it could be powered. And that, she said, sounds exciting, but all she would be doing is calculating some numbers and literally typing in the numbers and sending them up to the satellite, literally strings of numbers. But she said in her head, what she was doing was imagining that the satellite was getting cold, and she would imagine it with a scarf on and a jacket on, and then thinking, how do I get it onto the beach and make it feel hot? So she was in her own head creating a graphical user interface that didn't exist to make the whole thing seem more interesting to her. And I think it's a very far-sighted view, because what she was doing was being creative to make the job and to make the application in her own head far more interesting and user-friendly to use. So this creativity is really, really important. So I love this picture that I've put up here, if you can see it, because to me, this tells you why low code, it really tells the story of low code and no code, because all of us can create a PowerPoint slide. Yeah, we all know how to open PowerPoint. We know the mechanics of putting in our bullet points and inserting pictures and everything else. But what makes a PowerPoint really great is the choice of images and the choice of language that you put in to paint a picture into someone's head. It's the creativity part that is difficult sometimes. And with low code, what we're doing is, and what Jin is doing is taking away some of the technical side of, can I build an application, so that you can focus on the creative side. How do I make my application stunning? How do I make it so that people really want to use it? How does it really help people? So you can focus much more on the creativity. So that's one of the reasons why we were really excited about doing a Low Code-A-Thon. Second reason is communication. And this is one of my personal areas that I really look at very closely in our business that we run at Asia Online Publishing, and in other businesses where I've run them across Asia. One of the things that I'm really looking at is how well can people communicate? And it's an area where typically we get very, very talented people into our organizations, but they lack sometimes the confidence or the ability to, what I would say, fully and clearly communicate. So I know that a lot of the people within our organizations have the ability to communicate on a social basis. When they're with their friends, they're very elaborate and they will talk and they will communicate in lots of detail. But in other circumstances, sometimes in the workplace, maybe through fear of saying the wrong thing, they don't communicate as well. And when it comes to development in particular, communication is a really, really important skill. So whether it's software development, whether it's doing analytics to provide data and insights for the company you're working for, if you lack the communication skills, you're going to come up short. You're going to make mistakes, and you're not going to give people what they really want and what they really need, because there's been a breakdown in understanding of what you think they need and what they think they need. And probably the best example I've got of this is back in the late 1990s. There was a project by NASA, the Mars Climate Orbiter. They created this satellite to go to Mars, and the idea was it was going to collect climate information from Mars. I think the satellite cost at that time something like $125 million to get to design, create, and get into space. Now, NASA worked with a third-party company called Lockheed Martin, who were in the UK. And that satellite got to Mars, and then when it got into its final trajectory, you can see here the planned trajectory and the actual trajectory, they made a mistake, and it didn't go on the path it was meant to, and the satellite disappeared. They think that because it got too close to Mars, it actually just disintegrated in the atmosphere. So when they looked into why that was, it turned out that there was a very, very simple error, and it was a communication error between the Lockheed Martin scientists and software developers and the NASA scientists and software developers. And this is what it was. The NASA team were American. The Lockheed Martin team were British. And the Lockheed Martin team were calculating their speeds in miles per hour, and the American team were calculating their speeds in kilometers per hour. And they were doing some other measurements, some imperial, feet and inches, some metric, centimeters and meters. And no one ever picked it up in any of the communication between the two teams. And that led to a satellite, and it was related to the very final burners that were pushing on this satellite. It led to them losing the whole thing. So communication is so critical. And as part of this Low Code-A-Thon, communication is going to be very, very important, because it's going to be part of what you submit and part of how we judge your applications. So the competition itself, I think based on feedback from the students, we're trying to make sure that whatever you come up with comes under the UN's Sustainable Development Program, so that you come up with something that's not just a great idea, but it's an idea that contributes to sustainability. And I think that came from the Sunway students yourselves. So I think it's a really good addition. It wasn't something that we thought about when we came up with the Low Code-A-Thon, but it is something that you've asked us to put in. So when you're thinking about your ideas, you just want it to be something that contributes to this idea of sustainable development. And in terms of the actual problem statement itself, it's really open, because we do want you to use that creativity. So we know that the world has become application driven. This is absolutely the case. You know it more than us, but even for people of, I'll say, my generation, everything is built around applications, mobile apps, web apps, those kind of things. So achieving tasks need to be automated, need to be easy, need to be accessible, and most of all, it needs to be online and available on the devices that we use. And that permeates these days through every part of a company. But the software team doesn't have the time to be developing specific departmental level apps, as an example, for every department in a company. So with low code, you get the chance that every department, even if it doesn't have software development people, can and will develop apps that help them in their daily tasks and their daily routines. So that's where low code comes in. And we're going to be giving you guys access to Jin's fantastic low code product, so that you can actually use it to experience building an app. So what you want to do is find something where there's a manual process. where there's forms to be filled in, or there's something else manual, and look for a way to build an app that really solves that problem and automates it. Anything that you currently do that you think you can improve the automation and making an application could be relevant for this. It's really, really open. And then all you've got to do is design and build that app. And with the Jet Workflow product, you'll be able to do that. Now, in terms of the stages, what we're actually looking to do, what you're going to be able to do to submit your actual entry to the competition. Obviously, you've got to try and build an app with Jet Workflow. We've got some people within your group that have been trained to train you. So if you have questions, they've been trained on Jet Workflow already. We've got Jin on today who's going to explain more about it, and he'll explain how you submit your app. And then what we also want is a video, or you can split it into 2 videos. One will be a video demonstration of your app. The other one, which is really important, and it comes back to what I was saying about communication, is to video pitch your app as well. We want to see how you talk about what is the app, why is the app important, how is it going to help us, and what does it do. So your video pitch is really, if you think about if you were trying to sell your app to a potential user, if you think about how you would put that together. So that's what you're going to submit as part of your entry. Featurey will be sending out details of where you submit this, but what we're looking for you to do today, after today, is obviously just register, and I think all the details on how you register have already been sent out. But this will be what you need to submit. So with that, that's all from me this morning. I really thank everyone for joining. We're really excited about seeing what comes up, but let's get creative and let's get low coding. And I will now pass over to Dr. Angela, who's going to say a few words before Jin comes on.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Right, let me just share my screen. Right. Okay, so I'm Angela. I'm from Sunway University, and I'm very, very happy that we actually able to contribute and also co-host with Andrew and also Jean on organizing these competitions, Low Code-A-Thon. And I'm really, really grateful to have the Sunway Analytics Society in running the whole entire show together with Featurey, right, to get these amazing competitions out for you guys. So first of all, as a student, I would think that why would you want to join these competitions? Now, a lot of times students would think that, Miss, I have no time, you know, I have things to do. Now, the reason why we want you guys to actually compete and also to join the competitions, and this is actually a friendly competitions, is that because we wanted you guys to have the exposure, all right, the exposures that we are going to bring to you all, and also the experience that you're going to gain from joining the competitions. Now, this experience, you cannot get it from the book, you cannot get it from the classroom. It's something that you need to participate in it, and you will be able to gain that experience on yourself, all right? I cannot give you that particular experience or the task that you need to do, but you will gain the experience yourself if you were to go through this journey. And through competitions, of course, you are able to identify real world problems. You are able to propose solutions to the right people, to the right time. And most importantly, in this competition, you get to learn low code, and also you get to learn Jin's Jet Flow solutions, all right? This is the most important one. And when you join a competition, okay, when we look at your resume, for example, you as a student, when you participate in any of the competitions and then you send out your resume. Now, employers usually would then look into what have you done, okay? beyond your study period of time, okay, beyond your university's activities. So what have you done? So if you have done participate in competitions, it actually bring a much credibility into your resume, right? And you can be a better coder because once you compete, you will be able to kind of like reflect and think what you can do and what you cannot do. All right. So all I can say is one can never stop learning because we will continue to learn from every task that we do and every journey that we embark on. So I would like to take this opportunity to tell the students that don't be afraid, okay? You can get your friends, you know, get everyone to participate and join the competitions. It's a friendly competitions, I would say, all right? Gain experience, that is the most important as a student. So throughout this whole competitions month, we actually created several series of workshops. Okay, the Sunway Analytics Society Club is so hardworking and they have put in a lot of efforts and also time in creating these workshops and organizing these fantastic workshops for all of you guys. So we started off with having our very own Jin Chong, okay, Jet Workflow founder, and he actually gave a talk on the 2nd of October already, okay, on the story of becoming a software developer and how do you create apps and so on. Then the next workshop that we're going to have is tomorrow, which is we're going to run Jet Workflow workshops. And this is being conducted by the Sunway Analytics Society directors, board of directors, and they will actually train you guys on how to actually use Jet Workflow. So you don't be afraid, okay? You might think that I do not know how to do coding. I do not know how to create an app. What should I do? You know, I definitely will not win these competitions. Don't worry about that. We had you covered. We had the board of directors all ready to actually help you guys and also to train you all up. Then we have Professor Lau. Professor Lau is actually the a trainer, okay, and also a professor in Sunway University. He's not a trainer, he's an associate dean, okay, our associate dean, and we are so fortunate to actually get him out from his busy schedule and actually create this wonderful workshop for us called Design Thinking. Okay, we are so fortunate to have him on board to actually help us to conduct a 1-hour training sessions to the students. And we have the last workshop, okay, a very mystery workshop, the last workshop, which is conducted by Cindy Chow, all right, and that would be on the pitching, on the skill of pitching and teaching students on what are the difference between a pitch and also a presentation. So there is a difference between when you want to do a presentations and there is a difference between you do a pitching. So Cindy Chow is going to be here to actually conduct that workshop with you guys, all right? So all I can say is you still have time to get your friends, okay, to participate in this workshop. The registration is not closed yet. We had it up to tomorrow, Sunday. So please get your friends, okay, everyone to participate and enjoy your whole journey with us. All right. Thank you so much. I'll pass it on to Jean.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank AOPG and Sunway University for making all this possible. Bright sunny morning. My name is Jun Chong, and I'm a managing director of Seven Network, and also the founder of Jet Workflow. So the reason why we started Jet Workflow journey goes back to how we defined our core values. What are we here for? And we eventually realized that over the span of 30 years in the industry, our core value has always been helping organizations in their digital transformation journey, right? But digital transformation most often involve software development. Until today, traditional software development languages, and we all have to fall into this SDLC, which stands for Software Development Lifecycle, which most often it is lengthy, costly, and painful. So how are we going to solve this? Because moving ahead, if you look at the current market dynamics, it is at a much faster pace, especially during COVID. Governments are rolling out new policies almost every day, to meet the rapid change in the situation. So this is also another issues with software development, which is developers always beg the customers for business. And once they got it, most often it's the other way around, and the customer starts begging the software developers to fix the problem or to get the new features up quickly. And these are the issues that we're trying to address too. Then we started to look at how we can apply different methodologies to help make software development easier, how to make software projects success rate higher. As you know, we until today there's still a very high percentage of software projects fail. So design thinking come into the place because when you analyze most of the time how software are designed by organizations, most of the time it is the management that decides how and what they want the eventual software to be. And then when they roll out the final product, most often it is not useful by the end users, or it's not user friendly. So design thinking definitely is one good start. You have to empathize on what are the user needs, because eventually they are the one who's going to use it. I'm not going deeper into design thinking. I encourage everyone to attend your upcoming design thinking workshop. It's something that is a good knowledge to have. And then we also try to educate the audience with Devops. Devops is actually a marriage between development and operation. What it basically means is that as you are developing a software, you should test it and you should put it live as quickly as possible, so that you can see what is the eventual results or the outcome of the software that you have developed. And this actually shortens the time needed to roll out a piece of software, right? But if you want to do that, then again, the mindset, the mentality of the people has to be adjusted. They all have to know or have to agree to fail fast, which is kind of a painful, a medicine that's hard to swallow. So a lot of people refuse to fail, don't want to fail, or afraid to fail. So we are educating the audience and say, look, learn how to fail fast, because the faster you fail, the faster you find out which part of the software goes wrong, and the faster you fix it. Okay. So if you look at this chart, clearly represents what we are preaching. If you are going to the traditional waterfall method, which basically means that the management design the software, and then the coding team starts the process of coding, and the eventual product is being tested and deployed. The point of deployment is right at the back, right? It takes a long time to do it. There's also an agile methodology, which basically means that you design, you code, you test, and then you try and see if there's a possible outcome. If not, then you pivot a little, and then you code, you test until you reach a satisfaction point, and then you deploy. So Agile actually is a very good methodology where you manage outcome based on the process, but your eventual point of delivering or implementing the app is still about the same time as a waterfall, right, method. So with DevOps, you basically design, code, test, and then you deploy immediately. So you don't spend a lot of time worrying whether it works or not. You know, which are the parts that we don't cover. You deploy it so that you know where are the areas that you have missed, and you quickly fix it, and then you deploy again. Okay. So if we all agree that moving forward, these are the three main pillars into digital transformation. We also apply design thinking when we are developing Jet workflow. In the initial phase, we did a lot of workshops, as you see on the screen. You know, we rolled out a prototype or the beta version of Jet workflow, and we put it up to the audience and let them feedback to us and say, oh, you know, you should have this function, you should have that function, this should be done like this. We gather the feedback and we improve. All right. And in the meantime, we did a few interactions, you know, with the School of Computing in National University of Singapore. Went around radio shows, you know, trying to convince the audience that, look, you know, we should move to a new way of software development. Right? Went over to Jakarta, Indonesia, run exhibitions. So these are the things that we have done to promote the use of low code, no code. Okay. So if we now agree that design thinking, fail fast, DevOps is the way to go, you gotta have a platform to support this initiative. You cannot use the traditional software development method now to do DevOps or to fail fast. You can't. You're not fast enough, right? Every time it fails, it will take you another 2 weeks to revise your code and to deploy again. So you have to have something that is fairly instant. So this is where Jet workflow comes in. You know, you can quickly formulate an app in the matter of minutes, and then you put it out, you roll it out to test it for live usage. And at any point of time, if you find that, or if there's a feedback that you need something extra, it wouldn't cost you more than a few minutes to add those things in, and it will be rolled out almost immediately. Okay. So bottom line, don't reinvent the wheel. You know, for example, if you are doing data analytics and you want to develop an app to collect data from the ground, don't start from scratch of having to develop a mobile app just to do that, right? Use Jet workflow, within minutes, you can craft out an app that will help you to gather data from the ground, okay? And the objective is everyone can develop an app using Jet workflow. All right, so with that, comes to the end of my presentation. Feel free to link up with me via LinkedIn. And this is my company's website, and feel free to ask any question throughout the session. So thank you very much, and good luck to all the participants.
Thanks, Jin.
Yeah.
Appreciate you doing that on a Saturday morning for us as well, because you're not busy enough already, right? So okay, so we can do a Q&A now. We don't, so we're not going to turn on the microphones. What you can do is in the question box, if you have any questions about the whole competition, or you've just got questions for Jin or any of us, you can type them in there. I guess I should also, I should probably remind everyone that there are prizes, because I didn't put that into the slides, but so Fitri will slap my hand if I get these wrong, but the first prize, it's going to be grab vouchers, and the first prize is 1,000 ringgit. The second prize is 500 ringgit, and the third prize is 250 ringgit. there is, in addition to all the, I'll call it altruistic reasons that Dr. Angela gave around why it's a good thing to do this course, to do this competition, and I would agree that those are the more important things, but there is money as well. So, that's one thing to do. And then, just so you know, the way that it's going to work is once you submit your entries, then the judges, which I believe the final judging panel is the 3 people you can see here, each one of us will select our own 3 favorites, and then we will meet as a panel of judges to discuss, argue, debate, and eventually vote on the 3 winners. So that's how it's going to happen. So I'm just looking, I don't see any questions coming in. So if there's not, that's fine, but we'll just give a couple more minutes just to see if anyone does raise any more. Oh, there is a question here. Can we develop a web-based app instead of a mobile app? And can I do free access instead? That's from Su Chiek Yuan. So I think, Jin, you can probably, I think I know the answer to the first part of this, but I think probably you're the best person to answer that. So the question was, can we develop a web-based app instead of a mobile app? I don't quite understand the second part, but the second part is, and can I do free access instead?
Well, Jet Workflow, with Jet Workflow is a 3-in-1. So you develop on a Jet Workflow platform, you basically get a web and you get an iOS app and Android app. So it's a 3-in-1 development platform. All right. The app are generic apps that you only need to download once from the App Store. So it's not like the other platform where you develop and you have to publish that app out in the App Store. We don't do that, and that's how we can speed up changes. So with the app that you have already installed, anytime in any point in time that you make some changes on your forms or your logic, the app will reflect immediately. Okay, so that's a technology we have in Jet Workflow. As to the part 2, can I do a free access? I too don't get the gist of the question.
Okay. So maybe answer the first part. Free for the user. So I think so they've just clarified they want the app to be free for the user. So I think, Jin, you can answer that one as well. I think I know the answer, but I'll check with you.
Sorry, what's the question again? Is it free for the users?
Yeah, so it's the second part of the question you were asking. What Su Chiek was actually asking was, can the application that you create be free for the user?
Yeah.
So
free for the user.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that answers that question. Then we have another one come in. It's also for you, Jin. So does Jet Workflow come with Devsec ops, or how is it able to protect the code from an information security perspective? So secure coding principle, vulnerabilities, those kind of things.
Okay, well, good question. Devsec ops is a new terminology. We put a lot of security in Jet, in particular because it is open. You know, anything you put on the internet, you're basically asking for trouble, right? So all the codes that resides on the server are basically encrypted or scrambled. So if a hacker were to hack into the server, they can't find they can't make a sense out of what we're trying to do, other than the front side codes that is unavoidable. The other thing is that in Jet Workflow, we actually redefine field types. So, you know, in a traditional database, you can't, there is no photo field type in a traditional database. But in Jet Workflow, you have a photo field type, you have a chat box field type, you have a resource room. So all this we built on top of that traditional database field types. And what we did was we added a translation layer above the database, which means that even if a hacker were to hack into the database, they will have to make sense about what we have actually stored in there. Okay, and periodically we do we do penetration testing or vulnerability testing to ensure that the sites are secured. So that's how those are the measures that we take to ensure that it is secure up to 99%. You know, you can never be 100%. Right? They always try to be better.
That's true. So one of our other publications is Cybersecurity ASEAN, and we do a lot of interviews with chief information security officers. And the one thing that they all say without fail is it's not if you will be breached, it is when. So
Yeah.
you could never avoid totally. There was another question that came in, was about which Dr. Angela sort of spoke to a little bit, but I think it's more specific. So it was like, just to reconfirm, will there be webinars and workshops throughout the event to assist to complete beginners? So I think that's to help beginners. So I can answer a little bit on this, and then I don't know if Dr. Angela will want to say anything else, but I do know that some of the Analytics Society students have been trained to train on Jet Workflow, and they will be, I think when Fitri sends out details after you complete your registration to enter, you'll be informed of who the people are that can help you. But beyond that, Dr. Angela, I don't know if there's any other than the ones that you spoke about, whether you've got plans for any other webinars specifically on Jet Workflow.
Yes, you're right, Andrew, because the Sunway Analytics Society has already arranged a series of webinars and also workshops for you guys. So as a beginner, you don't have to be worried. You will be taught on how to actually use Jet Workflow. So don't worry. So as I forgot to mention earlier on, Sunway Analytics Society is a student bodies, okay, in Sunway University, where they have been established 10 years in Sunway University, and they are good in organizing events, and they are advocates to data analytics and applications softwares in computing. So they are very well versed in conducting workshops and also running events such this. So not to worry, you will be trained and taught perfectly in the webinar sessions.
Excellent, thank you. So I don't see any other questions, and we are nearly an hour in. So yeah, so I'm just double checking for sure. But no, I think we've answered everything that has come in. So with that, I think I just encourage everyone one more time, make sure you register. We're excited to see your what you come up with, and what kind of applications we're going to have the chance to judge. So from my side, I wish everyone good luck. I'll just give one more word to Dr. Angela and then Jin, and then we'll say goodbye for today. So Dr. Angela first.
Yes, thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward to what you guys are going to create. Okay, I can't wait to see the outcome of it. Yes, so all the best to you guys, and do remember to get your friends, get everyone to actually participate in these competitions, because the key thing is you get to learn things together and you get to learn something new. All right, it's not about winning or losing about the competitions. Right, Jin, to you.
Exactly. Having fun is what we are all looking for. You know, no pressure. And I also like to take this opportunity to compliment Dr. Angela and your Sunway Analytics Society team for their very professional work. The way they have organized events, I'm very impressed. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Right.